Welcome back. And if you thought the global earthquake story was over, it is not. Just 3 days ago, on July the 23rd, 2026, as the world was still processing the 1-month anniversary of the Venezuela, California, and Japan earthquake sequence, another unusual seismic event occurred. This time, the shaking was not on a Pacific coastline. It was not near a famous fault system. It was not in a region the world typically associates with major earthquake activity. It happened in the flat, wide agricultural landscape of the Texas Panhandle. And according to reports from the United States Geological Survey, it was the strongest earthquake to strike that region in at least 100 years. According to sourced information from Houston Public Media, published July 23, 2026, a rare magnitude 5.0 earthquake rattled parts of the Texas Panhandle in the early hours of Thursday morning. The epicenter was located approximately 24 miles south-southeast of Spearman, a town northeast of Amarillo, near the top of the Texas-Oklahoma border. According to report, TS from the watchers, citing USGS data, the earthquake struck at 5:21 a.m. Central Daylight Time. An estimated 103,000 people felt light shaking. A further 640,000 people felt what reports describe as weak shaking across a wide region. This is not a story about a catastrophic event. According to verified reports, no injuries and no strategic structural damage were immediately confirmed. But it is a story about something unusual. Something that the geological record shows happens only very rarely in this part of the United States, and something that is raising questions from county officials, from oil and gas industry representatives, and from seismologists about what is happening beneath the Texas Panhandle right now. And by the end of this video, you will understand why this event is more significant than a simple magnitude reading might suggest. The moment it happened. Early morning Texas Panhandle. According to sourced information from the Texas Tribune, published July 23, 2026, Spearman residents reported on social media that the earthquake shook their homes. According to verified reporting from Houston Public Media, Roberts County Judge Mitchell Locke, who also serves as the county's emergency management coordinator, described his personal experience of the event. "My cat woke me up. He kind of freaked out about it a little bit, and that woke me up." That detail, a cat alerting its owner to a 5.0 magnitude earthquake in the Texas Panhandle before dawn, captures something important about the nature of this event. It was felt. It was real. It was strong enough to disturb sleep and startle animals across a wide area. According to reports from the High Plains Observer, cited by the watchers, the earthquake was felt as far away as Amarillo, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa, communities located hundreds of miles from the epicenter. According to sourced information from the watchers, the USGS placed the epicenter in northwestern Roberts County at a depth of 5.7 kilometers, approximately 3.5 miles below the surface. That shallow depth is significant, according to verified seismological reporting. Shallow earthquakes, those occurring at depths of less than 20 km S, tend to be felt more widely at the surface than deeper events of equivalent magnitude, because the seismic energy has less distance to travel before it reaches the ground where people live and structures stand. According to reports from HPPR, High Plains Public Radio, effects from the earthquake were felt throughout the rural region and as far as southern Oklahoma and New Mexico. For a region that, according to all verified historical records, rarely produces earthquakes of this magnitude, the geographic extent of the shaking was itself notable. But the truly remarkable context for this event lies not in how it felt on the morning of July the 23rd. It lies in how rare it was, and in what may have caused it. 100 years. The historical rarity of this event. According to verified reports from Houston Public Media, the July 23, 2026 magnitude 5.0 earthquake is the strongest to strike the Texas Panhandle region in at least 100 years. According to sourced information from the watchers, citing the NWS chronological earthquake record through 2011, only 3 earlier earthquakes at or above magnitude 5.0 have ever been recorded in the Texas Panhandle region. Those events were a magnitude 5.4 near Panhandle in 1925, which remains the largest in the regional historical record, a magnitude 5.0 near Borger in 1936, and a magnitude 5.2 near Dalhart in 1948. According to reports from the watchers, the July 23rd event is now the 4th earthquake at or above magnitude 5.0 in the Texas Panhandle since 2011. And according to the same sourced analysis, nearly 91% of all known Panhandle earthquakes since 1907 were below the magnitude 5.0 threshold. The event sits in an extraordinarily rare category for this region. According to verified USGS data, cited by the watchers, the USGS identified the July 23rd earthquake as the potential main shock of an earthquake sequence. According to the same sourced USGS assessment, there's a less than 1% chance of one or more aftershocks larger than magnitude 5.0 which would be in the range that could be strategically impactful within the next week. The USGS issued a green alert for shaking-related strategic concerns and economic assessment. According to reports from Houston public media, Roberts County officials raised concerns about the potential strategic impact on the oil and gas industry operating in the region. The Texas Panhandle is a significant area of energy production. According to sourced reporting from the same outlet, one county official noted that a neighboring county has a lake with a dam, and that was any structural impact from the earthquake. That detail, a dry lake, a dam, and the uncertainty of rapid post-earthquake assessment in a rural region, illustrates the practical challenges that even a moderate seismic event creates in areas not routinely prepared for earthquake response. Why is Texas having earthquakes? The science explained. According to all verified scientific reporting on this event, the Texas Panhandle is not a region most people associate with significant seismic activity, and the question of why earthquakes of this magnitude are occurring there, and whether they are becoming more frequent, is one that the scientific and regulatory community is actively examining. According to sourced information from verified seismological analysis, the geological setting of the Texas Panhandle is fundamentally different from classic earthquake zones like California or Japan. Texas does not sit on a major tectonic plate boundary. It is not near a subduction zone. There is no equivalent of the San Andreas Fault running through the region. However, according to reports from verified scientific sources, there are two potential explanations for seismic activity in the Texas Panhandle that the geological community considers relevant. The first is natural. Ancient fault systems that exist beneath the surface of the region, capable of producing earthquakes through the accumulation and release of geological stress, as all fault systems do over geological timescales. The second is induced seismicity, the potential for human industrial activity, particularly the injection of wastewater associated with oil and gas production into deep geological formations, to trigger or contribute to seismic events. According to reports from the Texas Seismological Network, TexNet, which is the state's official earthquake monitoring system, the organization contributed data to the USGS tracking of the July 23rd event. TexNet was established specifically, according to verified reports, to monitor and de-study the increase in seismic activity in Texas that has been observed in recent years. I know, and to help determine the relationship between industrial activity and earthquake frequency in the state. According to sourced information from Houston public media, the strongest earthquake to previously strike near Texas in recent decades was a magnitude 5.4 event on November 16, 2022, located 236 kilometers east of El Paso. The July 23, 2026 Panhandle event at magnitude 5.0 is therefore not the all-time recent record for Texas seismicity, but it is, according to verified reports, the strongest specific to the Panhandle region in over a century. That geographic specificity matters because it is the Panhandle region, with its concentrated energy industry. That is the focus of the questions being raised. According to reports from verified sources, the USGS did not assign a specific cause to the July 23rd earthquake. Whether it was a natural geological release from pre-existing fault systems, or whether industrial activity may have been a contributing factor, remains, according to all sourced scientific reporting, an open question that ongoing monitoring and analysis will seek to address. What 640,000 people feeling an earthquake tells us. According to reports from the watchers, citing USGS shake map data, approximately 103,000 people felt light shaking from the July 23rd earthquake, and approximately 640,000 people felt weak shaking. Those numbers, 640,000 people across Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico registering the effects of a single seismic event in a region, not typically associated with significant earthquake activity, illustrate an important dimension of this story. Texas is not a state that has historically invested in earthquake preparedness infrastructure at the level of California or Japan. Building codes in much of the Texas Panhandle were not designed with significant seismic activity in mind. Emergency. Management protocols for earthquake response are less routinely practiced than in Pacific Coast states, and public awareness of earthquake safety, the drop, cover, and hold on response that is drilled in California schools, is considerably lower in Texas communities. According to verified reports from HPPR, the earthquake shook homes in Spearman and surrounding communities. For residents experiencing a 5.0 magnitude earthquake without the cultural and structural preparation that characterizes high seismic risk regions, the experience can be significantly more alarming than the magnitude alone might suggest to an outside observer. According to sourced information from Houston public media, officials in the region were actively assessing the situation in the hours following the earthquake. The absence of confirmed injuries and strategic structural damage in the immediate reports was, according to those same reports, a positive initial indication. But the rural and dispersed nature of the affected region meant that comprehensive assessment would take time. For the approximately 640,000 people who felt the earthquake across the wider region, July 23, 2026 was a reminder that seismic activity is not confined to the coasts of the United States. It can occur in the interior, in the flatlands, in the agricultural and energy-producing regions that most people do not associate with earthquakes. And when it does, communities that are less prepared for it face a different kind of strategic challenge, connecting to the bigger picture, Part 1 and Part 2. In Part 1 of this series, we covered the extraordinary sequence of June 24, 2026, 4 earthquakes across 3 continents in 8 hours: California, Venezuela, and Japan. The verified scientific consensus, according to reports from USGS geodesist William Barnhart and Cornell professor Judith Hubbard, was that the events were almost certainly coincidental, separate releases from separate fault systems operating independently. Now, in Part 2, we are examining an event that occurred in a region with no historical connection to those June 24th earthquakes. Texas, 3 days ago, the strongest panhandle quake in a century. According to all verified scientific reporting, there is no suggested connection between the July 23rd Texas event and the June 24th global sequence. They are geologically unrelated, but together they tell a broader story that is worth understanding, that seismic activity is a constant feature of our planet, occurring in expected locations and unexpected ones, along famous fault systems and through ancient buried structures that most people have never heard of. According to sourced information from earthquake monitoring data compiled by earthquakelist.org, in the past 10 years, 134 earthquakes with a magnitude of 4 or higher have occurred within a 300-kilometer range of Texas, averaging approximately 13 earthquakes per year. The July 23rd event, at magnitude 5.0, sits well above the average threshold for events in this zone and joins an extremely small historical list. According to verified reports, the USGS's TexNet network continues to monitor the Texas Panhandle region in the aftermath of July 23rd, watching for any developing aftershock sequence and continuing the longer-term study of what is driving seismic activity in this unusual location. What should Texans know? Practical guidance. According to reports from verified sources, including the USGS and emergency management authorities, the guidance for Texas residents following this event is straightforward and consistent with standard earthquake preparedness advice. According to sourced USGS data, the probability of a larger aftershock, one exceeding magnitude 5.0, in the coming week is less than 1%. However, smaller aftershocks are possible, and, according to standard seismological forecasting, are expected as the fault system that produced the July 23rd event settles. These smaller events may be felt in the immediate epicentral area but are not expected to cause strategic structural concerns. For residents of the Texas Panhandle and surrounding regions, the July 23rd event is an opportunity to review basic earthquake preparedness steps. According to verified guidance from the USGS and emergency management authorities, the recommended response during an earthquake is to drop to the ground, take cover under a sturdy table or desk, and hold on until the shaking stops. Moving to door frames, a common misconception, is not recommended by modern earthquake safety guidance. For buildings not constructed to seismic standards, which includes much of the Texas Panhandle's building stock, given the region's historically low earthquake risk, even a moderate magnitude of 5.0 event can cause items to fall from shelves, pictures to dislodge from walls, and minor non-structural damage. Securing heavy furniture and stored items to walls is a simple and effective precaution for residents in any region with any history of seismic activity. According to reports from county officials cited by Houston public media, local emergency management coordinators were monitoring the situation and would communicate any updates as assessments continued in the days following the event. Final word. The planet keeps moving. 3 days ago, the Texas Panhandle experienced its strongest earthquake in over 100 years. According to all verified reports, no one was injured. No significant strategic structural damage was confirmed. And the USGS projects a less than 1% chance of a larger aftershock in the immediate period ahead. But the event is unusual. It is historically rare. It is occurring in a region where the relationship between industrial activity and seismic monitoring is an active area of scientific study. And it is happening in the same month that the world is still processing the extraordinary global seismic sequence of June 24th. 4 earthquakes, 3 continents, 8 hours. According to all verified scientific reporting, these events are not connected to each other. They reflect the constant, ongoing geological movement of a planet whose tectonic plates never stop shifting, whose ancient fault systems never stop accumulating and releasing stress, and whose seismic record reminds us, from time to time and in unexpected places, that the ground beneath our feet is never truly still. Texas has now added its name to the list of places that reminded the world of that fact in the summer of 2026. This has been part 2 of your verified seismic series, with the unusual Texas Panhandle earthquake of July 23, 2026. Stay with us as we continue to track seismic developments and bring you every verified update.